Shalom to my brothers and sisters in the body of Yahushua HaMashiach. And today I bring you a continuation of Attention, Hebrew Israelites and Gentiles. The warning, part 2. The subtitle of this lesson will be The Ark equals the Tabernacle. My brothers and sisters, the Most High gave me a dream last night, and the thing that I remember from the dream was Revelation 12. For he wants me to go there today, and you will see how Revelation 12 relates to this word that he has shown to me when we came together for our Bible study lesson this week. For the Most High is confirming everything that he has shown to us, my people, since September the 23rd of those great earthquakes. There was at least 179 of them. There was about 16 fireball, about a little over 1,700 asteroids on that day. And now the birth pains have not ceased. They have speed greatly since September the 23rd. So the opening verse would be, I'm taking you to Psalms chapter 27, verse 5. For in the time of trouble he shall hide me in his pavilion. In the secret of his tabernacle shall he hide me. He shall set me up upon a rock. I'm going to read this again, my people, because I don't think you understand of the season we are in, of the time we are in. For it's truly late than we really think it is. For those who've been keeping a track of time, you know we are in the 7th day from Adam, which is the 12th day of creation. And based on the sources that I have it as the 7,484th year for the year 2016 and 12,484th year for the 12th day of creation. That's how late it is, my people. We are in the 7th week of Enoch's prophecy about the apostate generation shall arise. And we're seeing that now also being fulfilled. Verse 5 again, for in the time of trouble he shall hide me in his pavilion. In the secret of his tabernacle shall he hide me. He shall set me upon a rock. Also, we be going to Hebrews chapter 11, for even there was a message there, my people, that we learned from our Bible study that night. Hebrews chapter 11. And we're going to read verse 15 through 16. Okay. And I do highly recommend that you read that whole chapter because this is about faith. And I'm going to let you know the Most High do not like for you to have a double mind. He don't want you to be lukewarm. He wants you to believe and have faith in the promises he had told us. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 15 through 16. Okay. And truly, if they had been mindful of that country from whence they came out, they might have had opportunity to return. So here we already know by the way this is worded, this is dealing with Abraham and his lineage. Okay. And truly, if they had been mindful of that country from whence they came out, they might have had opportunity to have returned. But now they desire a better country, that is an heavenly. Wherefore Yahuwah is not ashamed to be called their God, for he hath prepared thee a city. You want to highlight that verse in your Bible. For even Abraham and his lineage, from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, even understood the promises that was made for them. As the words say about faith. And let's go and see what is the definition of faith, if you don't mind. I'm almost there. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So that is your definition of faith, my people. So with Abraham and his lineage, they have not seen the heavenly place that was prepared for them, but they believe in that place, my people. As you can see, even our ancestors had extraordinary faith, and they was tested, and their faith was tested, and the Most High was well pleased with their faith. Okay. So again, especially in verse 16, but now they desire a better country that is in heavenly. So you know they're not talking about the earthly realm, my people. They're talking about the heavenly realm. That place that Yahushua spoke of that he would prepare for us when he come back to redeem us to take us there, dealing with the two groups of people out of the three. Okay. Next keyword, for he had prepared for thee a city. That's very important, my people. For this ties into the subtitle of the ark is the tabernacle. And you probably say, well, what did that mean now in this season of that our redemption is nigh? Okay. Let us go to Genesis chapter 7. In your spare time, I would like for you to read Genesis chapter 6, chapter 7, and chapter 8. It's a reason why Yahushua mentioned that we are in the days of Noah. For he's given us what? An analogy. He given us a physical comparison so we can understand the spiritual thing that is about to take place. For a lot of my people are not understanding these spiritual things. Again, my people, you have to seek Yahuwah, and he will give you the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit will give you the understanding of these spiritual things and his mysteries. Okay? So we'll come back to this chapter here, but I do want to take you to this link. Sacredtext.com has the Book of Jubilees, and the Book of Jubilees does line up with the Bible. Okay? Like with any book, I do recommend that you compare it with the Bible. If it does line up, then you know it's correct. Now, also remember in the Book of Jubilees, before Moses, the Jubilee period was 49 years. It changed when Moses delivered the children out of Israel because they had 1 year a journey of Exodus, then 40 years of being in the wilderness, and then they had to wait until the 50th year in the land of Canaan to celebrate the next Jubilee. Okay, so we had a period of time there where we didn't have a Jubilee period. Understand? So this is why we celebrate Jubilee every 50 years. Also, before we go into this lesson, this is what you need to know. Originally, our year began with the month Tishri, which is the seventh Hebrew month. Originally, it was the first month of the year, but it changed in the time of Moses. And I'm going to take you to the chapter now to show you that verse. So let us go to the book of Exodus, chapter 12, so you can understand. And we're going to read verses 1 through 2. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first of month. It shall be the first month of the year to you. So this is why it's changed, because he wanted them to start their year with the month of Abib, because that was the month they were set free from slavery, from hard bondage. That was the month that he brought them into his rest from their oppressors, from their afflictions, from their hard bondage. So this is why he delivered them to come out of Egypt on Abib 15th at night. Okay. Another great comparison to confirm what I'm saying is, in your spare time, read Leviticus chapter 25. For there you will find why the Shemitah and why the Jubilee begins in the seventh Hebrew month, and not in Abib, okay, which is the first Hebrew month. So for the Shemitah and the Jubilee, they will always start on the 7th month and the 10th day and end on the 7th month and the 9th day. So now you have an understanding why some people call a civil year, and then I forgot the name of this year that we're following. So it's like two separate things you're going to have to keep up. This is why it's important for you to keep a record of your calendar and to write down these things so you can see them clearly and not be confused. I do have a playlist of videos on Yahuwah calendar to help give you more understanding. Okay. So now let's go to, let me get this back. So when we come back to chapter 7, if we need to, it's there. Now what I did, I went ahead and copy and paste what I needed from the Book of Jubilees for this lesson. Okay. Again, keep in mind, he, in a time of our troubles, he's going to hide us in his pavilion, also bring us into his tabernacle. For we know the 7th month of the Hebrew calendar, one of the biggest feasts we celebrate is what? The Feast of Tabernacles, where we should dwell in what? Booths, which are tents, which are basically representing his tabernacle. Okay. So I'm going to blow this up. Sorry, this little thing is so funny. Okay. Oh, yeah. So I'm at the top, and I'm going to blow this up so you can see this more. One more time. Okay. So we're good. So what I did, I took Jubilees chapter 6, verse 24 to 31 and line it up with the book of Genesis. And it's going to start from Genesis chapter 6, ending with Genesis chapter 8. Okay. So I'm going to read Jubilees verse 24. And Noah ordained them for himself as feasts for the generations forever, so that they have become thereby a memorial unto him. Verse 25. And on the new moon of the first month, he was bidden to make for himself an ark. And on that day, the earth became dry, and he opened the ark and saw the earth. Okay, so this is where the timing in the book of Jubilees, when it's talking about the first month for that particular passage, my people, it's talking about the 7th month. Okay, remember, things didn't change until in the days of Moses. That's how you have to keep this separated. Okay, so when you read Genesis up to the time of Moses, the first month of the year was the 7th month. Okay, so in the first month, which was the 7th month, my people, on the first day of the new moon. So when he said on the new moon, that means the first day of the new moon. So as you can see here, I went ahead and took notes to break this down so we can understand this clear. So on the 7th month, which is Tishri, which is the first month of the civil year, Noah was told to build an ark. And you can read about that in Genesis chapter 6. Okay. Then on the 2nd month of the civil year, which is Bull, and to us, Bull is the 8th month. Okay. 7 days, he had he gave him about 7 days to get everything, what's the word? Prepared, in other words. That was like the last 7 days before the waters were released. So that was from Bull the 11th day to the 7th day. Okay, and you can read that in Genesis chapter 7, verse 1 through 10. And keep in mind, when you read a Bible, it's not in order, it's a conversation. So that's why I tell you all the time, you have to write these things out so you can see on what that chapter is telling you, because it's not always in order. It's like a conversation. And you know how we are when we talk, we jump from subject to subject and come back to the prior subject. So that's how the Bible is. Okay. Then in the 8th Then in the second month of the civil year, which is Bull, Noah and 7 souls entered the ark on the 17th day and the 600th year of Noah's life. And the waters were released on that day. So therefore the flood was upon the earth. And you can read that in Genesis chapter 7, verse 11. So we have the official date when Noah and the other 7 souls entered the ark, and that was on the 8th month, which is a bull, the 17th day, and the 600th year. But in the civil year, that is the second month. Okay. Also, in the second month of the civil year, the rain came upon the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. So after the 7 days passed, the next day started the 40 days and 40 nights of raining upon the earth. And that is a month and 10 days. Okay. And Genesis will confirm that the months has always been 30 days. And we'll talk about the 364 days later on in this lesson. Okay. But Genesis will confirm that the months are based off of 30 days originally, because your moon dictates to you how many days in a month. Remember, we use the moon, the stars, and the sun. Each of them have a certain part to play in the calendar. Genesis 1, chapter 4, Genesis chapter 1, verse 14. Okay? So you definitely want to pause the screen and write this down. So after the 40 days and 40 nights pass of raining, which come out to be 1 month and 10 days, it ended on the 9th month, which is Kislev, and that is the 3rd month in the civil year, and it ended on the 27th day. And you can read about that in Genesis chapter 7, verse 12. Now let us go to the next verse. Now, verse 26 of Jubilees. And on the new moon of the 4th month, the mouths of the depths of the abysses beneath were closed. And on the new moon of the 7th month, all the mouths of the abysses of the earth were open, and the waters began to descend in them. Okay, so we're going to break this down. We're going to start with the 4th month. Now, what I did, I went back in the Bible and followed its outline and then added to this verse here. Okay, so in the 10th month for us, which is Tibet, which is the 4th month of the civil year of the first day, the mouth of depths of the abysses were closed. Okay, so this is why it says here the 4th month. That this to us, it is actually the 10th month. Okay, but in the civil year, it is the 4th month. I know it's a little confusing. That's why I'm telling you to write this down. So, in other words, 4 months after the 7th Hebrew month, on the first day of that 4th month, the mouth of the depths of the abysses were closed. All right. Now, I put Feast of Light and Hanukkah because in the 10th month of our calendar, the Feast of Light will carry over to the next month. It starts on the 9th month on the 25th day, but we have that Feast of Light, also known as Hanukkah, for a total of 8 days. So depending on how many lunar days we have in the 9th month, it will carry over into the 10th month, and it can be, let me see, it can end on the 3rd day or the 2nd day of the 10th month, which is Tibet. Okay, so I put that there because it's funny how our feast that we celebrate today does line up to the days of Noah in relation to the flood and particular events. Okay, now here, and we will go to the next line. The flood came. So it came on the 10th month, which is Tibet, and Tibet is the 4th month in the civil year, right? And the flood stayed upon the earth for 40 days. So that 40th day we landed on the 11th month that we call Sabbath, which is the 5th month in the civil year on the 7th day. So again, I added 30 days. I'm sorry. 40 days is a month and 10 days. So I added that to my prior number. And that's how I knew it will land in the 11th month and on the 7th day. Okay. Then we had 150 days. Okay. That the water stayed upon the earth. So we know 150 days are 5 months. Again, 150 days divided by 30 will give you 5 months. This is the proof. In the beginning, when time was perfect, our lunar months were 30 days. Okay. So that would place this in the 4th month, okay, of our Hebrew calendar, which is summertime. And on the silver calendar, or the civil year, is actually the 10th month. Okay. And it fell on the 7th day. Then the water abated. Read Genesis chapter 8, verse 3. Again, you want to write this down. I don't want you to be confused because you have to write this down, because we're dealing with our usual year in comparison to the civil year. So when you read Jubilees, when it's dealing with Noah, it's talking about the civil year. It's very important, which makes sense because when Noah built the ark represents the tabernacle. It is it's the representation of the pavilion. It's the representation of the tabernacle. It's the representation of the place of safety. Do you see where we're going with this now? Okay. So let me start on the next line. So on the 1st month, which is Abib, and in the civil year, it is the 7th month, and on the 17th day, the ark rested upon the mountains of Ararat. Let me see, Ararat. And the water decreased continually until the 4th month. And that 4th month, I'm talking about, it's dealing with summertime, which is the 10th month of the civil year. And guess what else happened on that 4th month? On the 1st day, the top of the mountains could be seen. And you can read that in Genesis chapter 8, verse 4 through 5. So at the end of the 40 days, let me bring this down some. So at the end of the 40 days, Noah sent a raven and a dove, but the dove found no rest. Okay. So when I calculated where this would fall in, it fell in the 5th month, which is Ab, and Ab is the 11th month in the silver year on the 17th day. Okay. And how I got that number, I added to my 150 days. Okay. Remember, I'm telling you, with the Bible, it's like a conversation. It'll tell you some things out of order. So this is why you have to write it down to see the correct order. So you need to keep that in mind. All right. Let me bring this up a little bit now. So then in the next 7 days, he sent the dove. Then in the evening, she brought him an olive leaf, which confirmed the waters were abated. Read Genesis chapter 8, verse 10 through 11. And that would fall on the 5th month, which is Ab. And in the civil year, it would be the 11th month on the 24th day. And this is the thing that we need to pay attention. She brought back an olive leaf. So we want to, keep that in mind. This is around summertime, okay? So in the next 7 days, he sent the dove and she did not return. And you can read that in Genesis chapter 8, verse 12. So that would place this in the 6th month, which is Elul. And Elul would be the 12th month in the civil year, which is the 1st day. Okay. So in the 7th month, which is Tishri, so we coming back to the beginning of the year for Noah. In the 7th month, which is Tishri, which is the 1st month of the civil year, on the 1st day, the waters are descending because the mouth of the abysses are open. Also on the 7th month, which is Tishri, and the first month of the civil year. On the first day and the 601st year, the waters are dried up from off the earth. And you can read it in Genesis chapter 8, verse 13. So we can see that he completed a year during this time of the flood. And Josephus would call this the deluge. I think I pronounced that correctly, but it's spelled Deluge. So from the 600 year of Noah's life, the flood came, and it ended, it was ending on the 601st year. Okay. Then on the 8th month, which we call Bull, and it's the second month of the civil year, on the 27th day, the earth was dried completely. And you can read that in Genesis chapter 8, verse 14. So now we go into verse 27 of Jubilees. And on the new moon of the 10th month, the top of the mountains was seen, and Noah was glad. So this is kind of like a repeat of what we already read in Genesis. So you see what I'm saying? It can be out of order, and you have to make sure you know what's the correct period when this occur. So it occurred again in summertime, which is the 4th month, and in the civil year is the 10th month. And on the first day of that month, the tops of the mountain were seen, and you can read it in Genesis chapter 8, verse 4 to 5. And let me go back up so you can see what I'm talking about, because we already mentioned this in verse 26, which is here. Okay. So in the month of Abib, Noah ark rested until the 4th month, and that's when you can see the top of the mountains. Okay. So let us keep going. Verse 28 through 31. And on this account he ordained them for himself as feasts for a memorial forever. And thus are they ordained. So isn't it funny that we have a feast in the month of Tishri? In the 4th month, I'm sorry, let me go in order. In the month of Tishri, also in the month of Tibet, we have the Feast of Lights, which is Hanukkah, or the Feast of Dedication, to carry over in the 10th month, which is Tibet. Then we have Abib, which is the 1st month. And, that's a big month for us because that's representing spring. And then we have Passover and other things as well. Then in the 4th month, which is, let me get my own thought straight. Oh, that's why I don't say that word, because that word is dealing with a deity. Because when you read, I think it's either Ezekiel or Jeremiah, it tells you that word is a deity. So I don't say that. So in the 4th month of our Hebrew calendar, we have Pentecost. Okay. So you see how in these 4 major seasons, we always are celebrating something within those 4 major seasons. We have fall, we have winter, we have spring, and we have summertime. Okay. So I'm going to read verse 28 again. And on this account he ordained them for himself as feasts for a memorial forever. And thus are they ordained. And they placed them on the heavenly tablets. Each have 13 weeks, from one to another, past their memorial, from the first to the second, and from the second to the third, and from the third to the fourth. And all the days of the commandment will be 52 weeks of days, and this would make the entire year complete. Thus it is engraven and ordained on the heavenly tablets. So what this part is talking about is dealing with the solar year. Okay. Remember, the calendar is made up of what? The moon, the stars, and the sun. The sun will have 364 days when it was perfect, before things affected time and before Israel went off. Okay, because when you read the entire chapter of Jubilee 6, you will see that everything now is out of order because of Israel. All right. And Israel under the curse. So this is why they're not following the correct calendar. This is why they're following the Gregorian calendar, even the Gregorian weekly format of what they think is the 7th day. This is why. Okay. Because they're still under that curse and everything. Only there's a small remnant of us that has truly awakened. And the reason why we are awakened to the true calendar is because of the Most High, for him opening our eyes and giving us understanding about his creations in the heavens. Okay? So when the solar year was perfect, there's a total of 364 days, and each season would have had 13 weeks. And those who keeping a record of the calendar now, when you read Second Enoch, you can't only read First Enoch, you got to read Second Enoch. Second Enoch will give you more understanding why the solar year now is 365.25 days, and then in the fourth year it becomes 366 days. Again, this format does not match to what the Gentile has. I have been keeping a record of this. I found that my 366 days fall in a year that they claim is 365, and that is because they're not following Yahuwah word on his calendar. Read Genesis chapter 1, and I'm telling you, my people, take it really slow. Go through that chapter very slowly. And again, I have a playlist that break down that chapter so you can understand what Yahuwah was trying to tell us about his creations. And another thing to meditate on. If you're in the wilderness and you do not have the Gregorian calendar with you, you have no mobile devices, how will you know when the day begin to end? How will you know when your week begin to end? How will you know when your month begin to end? And how will you know your year begin to end? Also, how will you know when your lunar year begin to end? How will you know when your solar year begin to end? How will you know when the seasons begin to end? So when you understand the moon, the stars, and the stars I'm talking about is Mazzaroth, the 12 signs, the Gentile call it the 12 zodiac, and the sun, when you understand how all they work together to give us the most high holy calendar, then you will understand what I'm saying here. So let's get back on track now with the lesson. The subtitle is The Ark Equals the Tabernacle. So we know this is the season for Yahuwah to return, and we're striving to go to the heavenly tabernacle, because remember when I told you there are three groups of people that Yahushua will be dealing with when he returns, for the redemption, for the taking, for the gathering. Out of those two groups of people, two of them will be redeemed from the earth and taken into the heavenly realm. And they are your 144,000 and the church that's bride. I highly recommend that you watch part 1 to get those scriptures. Okay. Now, for the chosen remnant of Israel to return, this is the thing about them. They're going to be in the earthly realm, and therefore they will return to the earthly Zion. But here's the catch. Read Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 33 to 34. Also read Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 21 to 38. Also Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1 to 4. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1 through 3, and Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 14, and Hosea chapter 2. Okay? Here's the thing about them. The Most High is going to have to refine them. He's going to have to remove their filth, remove their idols, circumcise them, okay, because of their hardened hearts. Give them a new spirit and a new heart. So he made it clear that before they enter the Holy Land, all of this is going to have to be done. So read those chapters. Now this is what brings me to, let me go back to Psalms 27:5. Sorry. Psalms 27 verse 5, and then we'll go to Revelation 12. I'm not going to read that whole chapter, my people, to keep this video short. But I do want to go back to Psalms 27:5 because a lot of my people are not understanding what this means. And it's a reason why Christ keeps saying, seek the kingdom of heaven, and you must be born again to enter the kingdom of heaven. Read John chapter 3, my people. You see, we are rewarded according to our faith and our works. So those who are enter into the kingdom of heaven, inheritance will be different for those that's in the earthly realm. Okay, I'm going to read Psalms chapter 27 verse 5 again, because I want you to really meditate on this verse. For in the time of trouble he shall hide me in his pavilion. In the secret of his tabernacle shall he hide me. He shall set me up upon a rock. Again, what is the secret of his tabernacle? Yahushua told us he would go to prepare a place for us. So let us go to Revelations chapter 12. And this will confirm what I'm about to share with you now. And we're going to read a Bible summary because, again, everybody has a different interpretation of this, but the word is the word. The word is very clear, and we need to understand this. A woman clothed with the sun travaileth. The great red dragon standeth before her, ready to devour her child. When she was delivered, she fled into the wilderness. Michael and his angels fight with the dragon and prevail. The dragon being cast down into the earth persecuted the woman. Okay? So I'm not going to read the whole chapter. I just want to read a couple verses so we can understand what this woman represents, because even the Christians are adding to this, and we need to keep it in its proper context. Okay? And there appeared a great woman in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. So we know this woman here that is talking about is dealing with the nation of Israel. Okay, you can say kingdom of Israel is dealing, or southern kingdom, because the southern kingdom do have 4 groups: tribe of Judah, tribe of Benjamin, tribe of Levi, and the remnant of the northern kingdom. Okay, so still all 12 tribes were present in the time of Yahushua. Okay, so now that we understand this is representing the nation of Israel, because we know that Yahushua HaMashiach came out of the nation of Israel from the tribe of Judah. Okay, and what this talking about, there was a great sign in heaven, and those who have been following the Star of Bethlehem will understand what I'm saying. On the first day of Tishri, this was seen in the heaven. Okay, and the constellation for that is Virgo, and Virgo represent the virgin or the maiden. So the moon was underneath her feet, and the sun was over her head, and the stars as well, the 12 stars. Okay, I have a video on that, and just look for it in the little icon, when it advertised, and you'll see it there. Okay, so now that we know this represent the nation of Israel, you're probably saying, well, what about the Gentiles? Where they come in? So those who've been studying the New Testament as well as the Old Testament, because they go both hand in hand, this is where you come in, Gentiles. Before Christ, in order for you to take a hold into the covenant, and you can read as proof in this in Exodus chapter 12, because some of the Gentiles came out with us and cleaved to us and took a hold into the covenant. And one of the requirements to keep Passover was circumcision. So before Christ, for you to take a hold into the covenant, you have to perform the circumcision of the flesh. Even in the book of Esther, you read about the Gentiles converting to be Jews, or to follow the Jews' ways. Okay, it's throughout the whole Testament. You can read it. Even King Solomon prayed for the strangers who would come and worship the Most High in the tabernacle that he built, and that's in 2 Chronicles chapter 6, verse 32. All right. So before Christ, this is how you took a hold into the covenant. But when Christ came and when he was crucified and resurrected, there was a change in the earthly realm. Okay, that's what I'm talking about now, the period we're in now. Now you take on the circumcision of the spirit. You can read that, I believe, in Colossians chapter 3, Galatians, and throughout another chapter as well. Instead of you being circumcised in the flesh, your heart, which is your spirit, your soul within you, is circumcised through Christ. This is why this is the gospel of faith. This is why we are operating in the spiritual and no longer in the carnal. This is why we can fulfill the law through Christ. Okay, because we're in the body of Yahushua. This is why we can fulfill the law in this time of our captivity, because we know Satan runs and controls the world. Okay. Also, it's right. This is why you can fulfill the covenant in the land of your captivity through Christ. We cannot fulfill the law in our flesh anymore, my people. For if you try to fulfill the law in your flesh and not through Christ, you will be damned by the law, and you are on your way to death and destruction, to the eternal death, which is the lake of fire. So if you do not accept Christ, this is your faith, my people. Okay? So this is where you come in, Gentiles. Through Christ, in the body of Yahushua HaMashiach, you take a hold into the covenant by the spiritual circumcision that's not made by man's hand. Do a word search on what I'm telling you in the New Testament and you understand. Okay? Also through the body of Christ, the reason why there's no difference between Greek and Jew or Gentile and Jew, male and female, bond and free, is now that we become the sons and daughters of Yahuwah. In other words, we go back to the status of Adam, for Adam was the son of Yahuwah. Okay? So you are a part of the nation of Israel. That's what it means that you become the partakers in the commonwealth. All right? So those who come in the body of Yahushua now, you will receive a special inheritance. You can also read Ezekiel chapter 40 to 48 to know what's the other inheritance for the Gentiles in the earthly realm. Especially read chapter 47. But let me get back on track. So you are included within the nation of Israel, my people. I mean, the Gentiles are included within the nation of Israel, who has taken a hold of the covenant by becoming, or in other words, by receiving salvation. So they are spiritually circumcised that are not made by hands. Now, in the new kingdom, we will be keeping the covenant as originally commanded. But right now, we are operating in the spiritual. So when you read Ezekiel chapter 40 through 48, that's dealing with the new kingdom and what will be done in the new kingdom of the new heaven and new earth. Now that I said that, I want to go down a little bit further. So we know the story that when Yahushua was born, King Herod, who was an Edomite, who tried to kill him, and then later on he was unsuccessful and he died. Okay, he died in 1 BC. Yahushua was born in 3 BC. He started preaching in 28 AD, and he was crucified and resurrected in 32 AD at the age of 33 and a half. Okay, so now I'm going to bring you up a little bit more to part of where we are currently about heading to now. All right. Let's see here. So we know Satan was cast out of heaven. So I'm going to start with verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And I heard a low voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our Yahuwah and the power of his Hamashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our Yahuwah day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto death. Okay? So this is how we are able to overcome Satan. You have to be born again, my people. And the spiritual representation, the blood of the Lamb, is the Holy Spirit. Read Ephesians chapter 1, verse 13 to 14. And also I found something in First Colossians, I believe, about it. But do a word search, because the Holy Spirit is your seal of redemption to enter into the ark. Okay? Verse 12, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he know that he hath but a short time. And he does. His time is winding down, my people. So let me start at verse 13. And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man child. Okay, so since 70 AD, the nation of Israel has been afflicted and is still ongoing to this day. Okay, so those are the tribulations that Matthew 24, Mark 13, Luke 21, and John 16, verse, I believe it's 32 to 33 or 31 to 33. It's talking about, okay? And also the nation of Israel is experiencing a a captivity in the house of bondage that we call Egypt, and which is fulfilling the prophecy in Deuteronomy chapter 28, especially verse 68. For we know America is modern day Babylon, and America is modern day Egypt. Modern day Egypt. For the Negroes, who are the children of Israel, was brought over here by ships, and the 10 lost tribes came over here to the Americas, which is Osiris. And I got an estimated date. It was around, they left around 683 BC and they got here around 681 BC. And I got, the year was like, let me get it right. It was 286 years after the first building of the temple by Solomon. That was in the 9500 year, if I have it correct. So we're looking at 9786. So it's the ninth day of creation in the 286th year when they left, which would be the I believe that would be the fourth day. Let me get it right. Yeah, that'll be the fourth day of creation. That'll be the fourth day of Adam. Look for the bubble box for that. Okay. So now we have the 10 lost tribe over here, and now we have the southern kingdom over here, which are made up of 4 groups: tribe of Benjamin, tribe of Judah, tribe of Levi, and the remnant of the northern kingdom too. Okay. So verse 13, and when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might flee into the wilderness, into her place, which she is nourished for a time, and times, and half a time from the face of the serpent. So it's she's going to her place. This dealing with the nation of Israel and the Gentiles who had taken a hold unto the new covenant of Yahushua HaMashiach. Okay, and to get more understanding of the 2 wings of a great eagle, I have some verses for you to read about that. Let me get my little note here. That would be found in Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31, and Exodus chapter 19, verse 4. Okay. So we know that the 144 and the bride says church are going to be redeemed from the earth. So they're going to go to the heavenly tabernacle. All right. And then you have the chosen remnant of Israel who is chosen by Yahuwah to return back to the Holy Land in the earthly realm. And they're going to be nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent. So that's 3.5 years. That lines up to what's written in Revelation 11 about the 2 witnesses, because they're going to come and preach and prophesy and afflict great plagues for 3.5 years and come against the last Antichrist. And you can also read it in the book of Nicodemus. And I'm going to put the link of that in the description box. Read chapter 18 and 19. Okay? During that time as well. So they're going to be protected from the face of the serpent, which is the last Antichrist, which is the beast that is not, but yet to come. That's written in Revelations, I think it's chapter 17 and Revelation chapter 13. Okay? And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. So he's going to send an army after this nation. Remember, that's 3 groups. 1 is in the earthly realm, and 2 is going to be redeemed to the heavenly realm. Okay? So he's going to try to pursue after this remnant that's chosen to be saved. Okay? And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. So the earth is going to help. It's going to do like the same thing that it did with Korah and them. When you read in Numbers chapter, I think it's 16, 17, or 18, the earth is going to help again. All right? This is done with that chosen remnant. Verse 17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Yahuwah and have the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach. So for some reason, for those who are not chosen to go in the wilderness, into the place of safety, into his tabernacle, or into what we call the ark of salvation. This is a key description about them. They're going to keep the commandments of Yahuwah and have the testimony of Yahushua. In time, we're going to pray to Yahuwah that he will give us more understanding on how this relate. Okay? Because there is a part in Revelation 9, verse 4, that those who are sealed will be protected from those so-called locusts for about 5 months. It may relate to that. So again, everybody has an important part to play what's coming forth. We know what Yahuwah has told us. I mean, those who has a relationship with him, because some of us know where we be going based on his messengers that was sent unto us. As for me, he has sent messengers to me, so um I was told where I would be going. Also, I had met brothers and sisters who had either been to heaven, and he told them some things too, what would happen. Also, he also told them where they would be going. So keep in mind that we have a lot of things that would be happening in this great time of that 3.5 year period of the last reign of the Antichrist. Okay. So in other words, we all have a piece to the puzzle. We will not all know everything, just like it's written in the word. And I think it's in 1 Corinthians where we are prophesied in part, just like Ezra was given in part of these prophecies. So, we all have pieces to the puzzle. So that's why it's important for that when we come together, we can put these pieces together to see the whole picture. Okay, so what I'm doing now, I'm just giving you the highlight, and the highlight is for those who were faithful and true, it's going to be protected. Okay, those that he chosen. Let me keep reading. Okay, so that ends it there, because I do want to go back to 2nd Ezra chapter 9. Okay, to end this lesson out. And we'll go to we're going to read verse 6 through 8. Okay, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. So he always give us a sign, my people, and we got that sign now, which was September 23rd. So we know we are in the season now. Okay, and everyone that shall be saved shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said pearls, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders. For I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. So when you read Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 33 to 44, and Ezekiel chapter 36 through chapter 36, verse 21 to 38, Isaiah chapter 4, and Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1 through 3, that remnant that's in the earthly realm to return to the true Zion in Telerod will be sanctified. In other words, he's going to clean them out. He's going to purge the rebels out. He's going to get rid of them. They're not even going to make it in the Holy Land. Okay? He's going to sanctify them by giving them a new heart and new spirit. So he's going to purge their he's going to circumcise their heart and hearts. All right? Now, for the other two groups, they had came into the body of Yahushua, and they have fulfilled their part. So he's going to reward them by taking them to the heavenly realm. So all three groups going to be preserved from these dangerous times in the 3.5 year reign of the Antichrist. All right. So the reason why I'm making this post is that I don't want you to, I don't want your faith to be shaken. This is very important. This is not the time to bear to the right nor to the left. You need to stay on that narrow path of righteousness, and you need to keep your faith strong no matter what happened. Even in death, my people, Yahushua say he will resurrect us in the first resurrection. Okay, so you need to believe in that. Even in death, there was promises made to us that he's going to bring us back to life. So no matter what happened now from this point on, I need for you to believe. I need for you to have faith. Even in 2nd Ezra, I think it's chapter 1, he tells, it's prophesied by a group it's prophesied by our generation that we would believe and trust in him, and we haven't even seen all his great works and signs and miracles that our ancestors saw in ancient Egypt. Read that in the first chapter of Second Esdras. So again, I don't want to keep this video long. So our art today, in Noah's day, he had a art that was made of wood, which was a boat. Our art today would be the heavenly realm, which is the prepared city that he has made for us. And in the earthly realm would be Zion, the true Jerusalem in Tel Arad, Israel. So he has prepared a place which is called the Pavilion, and we could be hidden in the secret of his tabernacle. Okay, so I need for you to believe, whether you're the in the 144 or in the church Sass bride, the spiritual temple not made by hands, or whether you're in that chosen remnant that is soon to return to Israel. I really need for you to believe in the Most High and have faith. Do not let your faith be shaken, because that's what Satan is trying to do. Because this last Antichrist that's coming is going to deceive the whole world. He's going to bring a great deception, as written in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. And those who have been chosen by the Most High will not be deceived. Okay? But those who will be deceived because they have lost their faith, they have pulled away from the faith, and they're going to fall for it, my people. So continue to stay in the word, continue to look for these signs. I love you all. Preach the gospel that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Make sure the people receive salvation as written in Romans chapter 10, verse 8 through 13, and baptize them in the name of Yahushua. And remember, warn everyone. I know they're going to look at you like you're crazy, but this is so important. We don't want nobody's blood to be on our hands, not even our enemies, my people. Remember what Yahushua said about what to do for our enemies as well? Because even the Father calls rain to rain on the enemy as well as the good. Remember that. So he wants us to warn everyone. So on the day of judgment, they cannot say to him, but nobody didn't tell me. And that would be a lie from the gates of hell, because somebody told them. They were warned in one way or another. So we have to do our job, no matter how crazy they look at us. Okay? Again, I love you all, and shalom.